Everything God. Ooh, that's a huge and very global and universal message. I'll do my best to tackle this in about 2 to 3 minutes. And of course, I will highlight many of your videos. I want to touch on just the humanity of Jesus for just a moment here. Gosh, you think about this thing called life. And the experiences that we have in life. And here, this is a website on motherhood and joy and connection and the most wonderful blessings that God has bestowed to His children is the gift of parenthood. But why am I going to talk about suffering for a minute? That seems odd. But I believe that truly suffering teaches us the most important lesson, I believe, in life, which is to remain humble. I've seen time and time again that, those that are arrogant and those that are prideful, they kind of need what they call a dose of humility. So, suffering in some sorts seems to be the only thing strong enough to destabilize and reveal our arrogance and our separateness from God. Buddha describes suffering as attachment to the things of the world or attachment to expectations. And so all suffering is a result of that attachment. In reality, suffering is very simply whenever you are not in control. And to realize that somehow God is in the midst of our suffering and even will use this suffering for our good. If we don't understand and accept that and realize that, then oftentimes we as humans will shut down and become bitter. And for Christians, we learn to identify the wounds of our suffering with the wounds of Jesus' suffering on the cross. Our task as women, as wives, as mothers, as friends, as sisters, as women, is to find the good, the true, the beautiful in everything. And most specifically in the suffering and the problematic and the challenging. That is where, as our ego melts away and as we surrender our will and our attachment and our expectations to what God has in store for us, undoubtedly, what will manifest and what will blossom is something far more beautiful than we can ever create for ourselves. Our puny mortal selves always fall short. I believe at the end of the day, what God wants from us is simple honesty and simple humility. It's such a beautiful message that He sends through, each and every child that He blesses us with is their meekness, their authenticity, their vulnerability. That is the true message of our mortality. And if we as adults can remember to keep that in check and understand and identify our egos and keep them at bay and really be able to surrender what we can't control. Surrender to God. Surrender to faith. Surrender knowing that He has fallen far below where we can ever fall and yet still is resurrected in the glory of God. What a beautiful message that is. It says in John 1:5 that our light will shine in the darkness, and it is only at the cross do we learn humility and patience and long-suffering and selflessness and compassion for all the creations of God. And as mothers, I personally believe that God's most priceless creation is His children, His young children, our children. The blessing of motherhood that comes from God Himself, blessing us with His most precious creations for us to love and to serve and to nurture and to care for and to teach. I love this little simple quote that I've told myself from time to time when I'm going through some really tough things in my life, which I have. There is no strength where there is no struggle. And so if we see others that are struggling, if we ourselves are struggling, there is no strength where there is no struggle. And help us to see the beauty where there is struggle. Help us see the beauty in the vulnerable. Help us see the love in the eyes of Christ in everybody that we meet. As difficult as that is, it's not easy. But if we look hard enough, and if we step back, and we try to peel back the layers, we can find something in everybody that manifests God. We really can. Let's challenge ourselves to do that. That's the first segment of everything God